Hi everyone, we talk about the reading skills inferencing questions today. So let's take a look at what it means by inferencing questions. Inferencing questions are slightly more difficult than referencing questions because instead of directly copying information from text as your answer, you need to use your own words to answer the questions using inferencing skills. They are between level 4 to 5 in difficulty. You may wonder, as inferencing questions are so difficult, does it mean that you should give up on trying? Definitely no, because sometimes you may get the keywords correct. So how can we tackle this kind of questions? There are 3 steps. The first one, observe. You have to read the text very carefully. And then step 2, apply prior knowledge. You have to think why people are using that word, what it means in daily life, when would you use that word particularly. And then step 3, you have to predict what it can be the answer. So let's take a look at last year questions. And today we are going to focus on 2, question number 3 and question number 16. So for question number 3, let's take a look. What does "before you judge me for leaving my 9 to 5 to get the lowdown on cappuccino," suggest about the general perception of running a cafe? So from this one, you can see that I have highlighted or circled quite a lot of words. So when you see the word judge, you will think of something negative. And then from the word suggest, you know that it must be something that you have to write on your own. And then the next one, general perception of running a cafe. As you have to write about it and you see the word judge, you know that you have to write something negative. Then what do you need to write about? First, 9 to 5. What does that mean by 9 to 5? It means some kind of probably office work. And then to get the lowdown on cappuccinos, then think about the situation. The writer ran a cafe before, so cappuccinos, what means the cafe. And then we have to talk about the negative thing for people leaving office work and to run the cafe. So comparatively, the good thing about doing an office work would be about the salary for sure. And at the same time, why? Because it is stable. You got paid for every month. And then for a cafe, you have to remember it is a business. What does that mean? Regarding money, you are not sure whether you get the money or not. So in that case, what is it trying to suggest about the perception of running a cafe? If I tell you that I'm quitting my job and I go to run a cafe, what would you feel if that is especially like your son or daughter? So for those people, probably they will say something like, some people might think that it is, and then we have to think of a word to run the cafe. So what do we need to fill in here? As you can see, we talk about something negative because of the word judge. Then you have to think about a negative adjective to write here. So from here, what I think of would be irresponsible. Because think about it, most of the time you use your salary on family. Then if you're not getting the salary, so who are going to pay for the necessities? Or another one would be unrealistic. Because it's like in a dream unless you are born by a millionaire. If not, it is impossible. So this would be possible answers. Remember, these are just possible answers. It doesn't mean that these are the only answers. And then for question number 16. It seems very easy because for the words, what you can see is just good at and bad at. So let's take a look at paragraphs 11. So from paragraph 11, remember that we have already known that the writer is happy that there are still some independent cafes nearby. Then we take a look at the rest of the paragraph. He said, or she said, the world would be worse off without its humble neighborhood cafes, even the failing ones. You see, failing. So he thinks that most of the neighborhood cafes, which means the independent cafes, are failing. I only wish that small independent cafes could find it as easy as what? As easy to achieve financial security as they do lodging in a special place in our hearts. Remember the phrase as easy as. I think you've learned it in junior form. It is actually the same even when you are in the DSE. So let's take a look. When you talk about a wish, that means something that you have to struggle or something that you may not be able to do. And the writer used the word could find. That means it is not something already existing, okay? And comparatively here, you can see it is in present tense, which means they are already doing it, okay? So we understand that easy is talking about this part, lodging in a special place in our hearts. Then what does that mean? You wish for something. That means that you are struggling on this one. Okay, if you are struggling on something, that means you are not good at it. And that's why for the answer of question number 16, it is quite easy actually. So for good at, you would write down something like lodging in a special place in people's hearts. You may wonder, why am I changing the pronoun here? Why? Because if you write down not, nobody understand what you nobody understand what you mean by our. That's why you have to write down people's. And then for the second part of the answer, it is quite easy. Bad at doing would be achieving financial security. Okay? Not exactly copying everything from the text, because you have to change some part of it, like lodging, achieving, and then from our to people's. But I think that you can do it if you do it very carefully. Okay, so that's all for today, and good luck in the mock examination. Bye bye.